Hey there, sweet friends. Welcome back, or welcome if you're new. It is day 4 of our 13 Days of Halloween series. And if you're just joining in, you can find links for the first 3 days at the top of the description so you can get caught up. And don't forget to listen throughout the video for the question of the day. For today's project, we are going to create a loaded pocket mini album. As you can see, we have lots of pockets inside and they are holding inserts. Some of them are folded, some of them are tags, and so we have plenty of room inside for all of your pictures and journaling. So if that sounds good to you, then stick around and we'll make it together. So we're back in that Simple Stories, Simple Vintage Scary Story collection, mostly because I do want to take advantage of those cut aparts again to act as inserts in our pockets. We're also going to be working with these envelopes. I picked these up from Amazon, and unlike the envelopes in our previous videos, this one is going to be an A7 size. So it's roughly 5 1/4 by 7 1/4. The first thing I want to do is seal that up. So I'm going to take this top portion off. Then I'll bring this to my guillotine cutter and slice off 3-inch sections from either end. So what you're going to wind up with is pockets out of this, and then this strip in the middle you can discard. So for each envelope, we're going to get 2 pockets, and we'll need 2 envelopes for this project. Let's start by building that cover. And so I have a piece of heavy-duty cardstock. It is 6 inches high by 11 inches wide, and I am going to reinforce that with some additional layering. And so I have a piece here that is 6 high by 10 1/2 wide and scored at 5 1/4. And I will add this to the front and the back. Not only does that give us additional layers of sturdiness, but it will give us a nice even edge on the outside of the album. So I'm just going to pick that up and bring these 2 pieces together, keeping the edge right into that score line, and press that into place. So I am using my 2 glue combo for all of the layers here on the cover. As I am working along here, I will say that 2 things I have learned this week is that getting glittery nail polish off is much more difficult than you would imagine. And also that if a cricket wants to live in your basement, you probably just have to accept him as part of your family because they are very difficult to find, and this cricket wants to stay. So as I was talking to Army Son this morning on the phone, he has elected to name the cricket Charles. So everybody in the comments say hi, Charles, to the basement cricket, and thank him for all the extra ambience we're getting in the background of our spooky videos here. I'm doing the same process for this side as well. So now that we've got that base sorted out, let's work on the envelopes. Now I want to add these offset so that we can add our inserts in and have all of them showing at once. So I want to put one closer to the top, obviously, and I need to have enough room for the tops of my inserts to show. So I've decided to add my pattern paper into the ends of these envelopes, and that will help me with spacing. So the top layer has a measurement of 4 1/4 by 5 1/8. It's cut just a little narrower than the width of that envelope so that I can get it in here easily. So let's put this in here. Make sure you get it tucked all the way down in. And as you can see, I have added some adhesive here to the back, and this is going to secure it along the base. Keeping this center left to right. And then add that to the book so that you're getting those nice cardstock layers. Now for the second layer, my pattern paper is 4.5 by 5 1/8. And I'll just repeat that process by adding my pattern paper down into the envelope, pulling the backing off of that paper tape, and then flip that over and add it right down to the bottom corner. The final piece for this side is going to be the pattern paper that we have to cover the pocket. And so this piece is 2 7/8 high by 5 1/8 wide. So now you see we have 2 pockets here, and we can add our inserts. Before we go to that step, let's go ahead and finish this side with those same measurements and steps. Got a couple extra details that I want to add to these pockets, and I've just cut one of those small doilies from black cardstock to coordinate. I put a little bit of my 2 glue combo on here, and I'm just going to position them so that they are on the inside of the pocket, and then I'll top those with one of the 2x2 cut aparts, and this is just a little bit of extra added detail. Now into our pockets, I want to arrange a combination of our cut aparts. And so I have some here that are 3x4, and you can see how that is just the right depth on that top pocket so that our inserts will be visible over the top. I want to be able to see them all when they're added to the pocket. And I also have some of the 4x4 cut aparts. Now I did trim these down to 3 3/4 by 3 3/4, and I put that on a cardstock layer that is 4x4, just so that it will be extra sturdy. And I did finish the back with that orange cardstock. As I mentioned before, this is really going to be a nice way to add some journaling to these cards instead of having all of the surfaces covered with patterns. So you see how that will go in here as well. And I have prepared one for each side. And then I want to put one of the tags in as well. There is some space for journaling on the back of these. So we have 3 tags for that top pocket. And then I also want to include one of the tags for each of these on the bottom. Now you can see all these fun layers starting to build up. For our final insert, I want to create one that is folded. And so I have a cardstock measurement here. It's 3 high by 9.5 wide and scored at 4 3/4. And I picked this especially because I want to see how this sticks up here and goes over those layers. So I'm trying to get a nice full effect. And so I do want to finish this with our collection paper. So all of these are going to be 4 5/8 by 2 7/8. And so once again, I want to put that orange on the back. This is also another way to stretch your collection a little bit further because you don't have to cover every single surface with the pattern paper. I'll just finish that on the inside as well as the outside for extra added sturdiness. For the front, I did want to utilize one of my cut apart images, and those are 3x4. So I know that it wasn't going to be high enough or tall enough to fit that amount of space. So I did prepare just a little bit of the scrap from the offcuts, and this is 2 7/8 inch wide, so I know that it will fit perfectly. And I cut my journal card or my cut apart to be 2 7/8 wide as well, so I know that this will line up perfectly. And this is going to be one of 2 of the inserts. This one is the folded one, and I'll just have that with a nice little added border there at the bottom. And this will slip in this way to get our nice layering. Here's one for the other side. And I'll put that here. Now that we've got that inside all filled, let's go ahead and finish the cover. So I have pattern paper here cut to be 5 7/8 by 5 1/8. I think it will be easier to flip this open a little bit so we have a more of a flat work surface. Put a little tape on there so I can secure my trim. This is more of that beautiful Houndstooth from a Really Reasonable Ribbon. We'll add that pretty plaid to the front cover as well. Here's a nice white doily to break up a little bit of that busy paper pattern, and one of the cut apart images die cut with a circle die added to a black border and with the foam tabs there as well to build dimension. I added quite a lot to this flower arrangement from the ones that we have shared in the last few days. So I did add an extra layer here of die cut foliage, and this time it is cut from glitter paper. Added 3 flowers this time and quite a lot of that beautiful houndstooth trim. And so I'm just going to add this right down to the bottom here of this, and that will help to disguise the cut edge here of my circle. And let's secure that right along the bottom. This is a good time for the question of the day as I continue to add my finishing details. So would you rather have a pumpkin spice latte or a apple cider? And I am going to pick pumpkin spice latte. They only are good, in my opinion, just this time of year, so I take advantage of it while it is available. And if you've never tried the Chobani creamer, it is really quite nice with the pumpkin spice flavor. So let me know in the comments, would you pick a pumpkin spice latte or an apple cider? And now as I add these last remaining details, these perfectly coordinated sequins, I will say that that is going to be it for day 4. And I sure do hope that you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And remember to come back tomorrow for day 5. You can find links in the description. And as always, I'm wishing you a happy and productive day. And I thank you so much for watching. Bye.